All right, let's jump right in. We spend our whole lives, defining things. But have you ever really stopped to think about how complicated that simple act is? It sounds so easy, right? But it turns out getting a definition just right is one of the biggest hurdles we have to overcome, especially now that we're talking to machines all the time. Okay, here's a classic scenario for you. You're at a family gathering and someone asks, "So, what is it you do for a living?" And you open your mouth and suddenly you're fumbling. How do you actually explain your own job in a way that someone completely outside your field will get? It's tough. And that simple question, that little moment of struggle, it gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today. So let's take a real world example, like the term SEO. You hear it all the time, but it can mean two totally different things, can it? On one hand, it's the field of work itself, search engine optimization. But on the other hand, it's also the person who does the work, the SEO analyst or specialist. It's just one little word, but it represents two distinct concepts. And that's exactly where the confusion starts to creep in.
And look, this isn't just a problem for, techie professions like SEO. Not at all. It's actually a fundamental part of how language works. And we can give it a name to make it easier to talk about, the Jaguar problem. And this idea, it scales way up from just job titles to a much, much bigger challenge.
Jaguar. That's it. Just Jaguar. When you see that word, what's the very first image that pops into your head? Just hold that thought for a second. So, what did you think of? Was it a sleek luxury car? Or maybe a powerful big cat, prowling through the jungle? Or, if you're a football fan, maybe you thought of the NFL team. See, the word Jaguar could be any of these things. This right here is ambiguity in action. It's this constant little puzzle our brains are solving without us even realizing it.
Now, for us, for you and me, this is usually no big deal, right? If you're talking to your friend at a zoo, you both know you mean the animal. If you're at a car dealership, you mean the car. We use context like instantly. But for a computer or a search engine, it's a huge, huge challenge. They don't have our built-in intuition.
So, to solve this problem for machines, we need a formal process. And it's got a name: disambiguation. Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful, I know, but all it really means is clearing up the confusion when one word has a bunch of different meanings. It's basically the act of choosing the right meaning for the right situation. So, how do machines actually learn to do this? Well, we can look at a system we all use every single day that has absolutely mastered this exact problem: Wikipedia. Seriously, it's the perfect model for how to untangle this kind of ambiguity in a really clear, logical way.
And Wikipedia's method is actually super simple, but it's also elegant. You've seen it a million times, right? You search for a term, and instead of just guessing what you meant, Wikipedia gives you this central page that basically says, hey, this word could mean a few different things. Which one were you looking for? And from there, it links you to the specific article for each concept. It is a brilliant, brilliant way to create clarity by design.
Okay, so Wikipedia has it all figured out for organizing its encyclopedia. But why is this so incredibly critical for a company like Google? Well, because for a search engine, this isn't just about good organization. This is at the very core of how it understands the entire world. Just think about it for a second. Every single search you type, every single query is a potential Jaguar. When you type something into that search bar, Google's algorithms have to perform that same act of disambiguation, but they have to do it instantly, and they have to do it for billions of searches every single day. They are solving this puzzle at a scale that is just mind-boggling. And this whole challenge has led to a major, major shift in how we think about creating content for the web. It's something called semantic SEO. And the core idea is pretty simple. Stop focusing only on keywords and start focusing on clearly defining the concepts, the actual meaning behind your words. It's all about helping the algorithms understand what you're truly, truly talking about. And this isn't some trend that just randomly popped up on its own. Google itself has been actively pushing the entire industry in this direction for years. It makes sense, right? Better definitions and clearer meaning lead to better search results for all of us. So they absolutely reward content that provides that kind of clarity. So what does this actually mean for you or for anyone who's creating content online? Well, it means you have to start thinking a little bit like an algorithm. You need to learn how to see your own content through its eyes and define your world with absolute precision, leaving zero room for misinterpretation. And the benefits of doing this are just huge. I mean, when you define your terms precisely, you're not just being a better writer, you're making sure that machines truly get your intent.
You're helping connect your ideas to this massive global web of knowledge. And, most importantly, you're making sure your message actually gets to the right audience. It's a win-win-win.
And what's really cool is that you don't even have to guess how you're doing. There are now these specialized semantic tools that can analyze your text and show you exactly how an algorithm like Google's is reading it. You can literally get a peek at your content through the eyes of a machine. How cool is that?
So if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this simple thought. Whenever you write something today, an algorithm is reading over your shoulder. It's your first reader. So for its sake and yours, define your world clearly.
And this all brings us to one last big thought. As AI gets more and more woven into our daily lives, this whole challenge of defining things, it's only going to get bigger. So the question for our future is this: how will our ability to be precise with our language shape the way we communicate with machines, and maybe more importantly, how they communicate back to us?